What's up, y'all? It's Bubs the Beast. Today might actually be one of the only days you guys ever see Bubs' real hair because Bubs does not do this. And no, I ain't natural because I still rock my perm. Yes, got to rock my perm, but well, relaxer technically. But the reason for today's video is to discuss my thoughts on single parent homes, a functional home, homes period. Now, I myself, don't mind my jacket, y'all. This is the jacket I do hair in, which is why there's hair glue on it. But I've been actually very fortunate enough, me and my sister, to be one of very few people that we know who were blessed enough to be raised by both parents. That's sad. But yes, me and my sister were raised by two of the best parents anybody could ever have. Brief description about them: we're adopted. We're blessed because not too many people who wind up getting adopted get great parents, but we did. My father worked at GM for 45 years. My mom worked at GM with him. She also had a couple other jobs, but the difference was she worked because she wanted to, not because she had to. And for us to be adopted, we used to get all type of criticism about how our parents were older than everybody else's parents and this, that, and the third. And, you know, it used to take a toll on me and my sister. But then we grew up and we realized that we were a lot more blessed than a lot of kids who had so much bad things to say about us. It's ironic that for us to be adopted, we have better parents than people who are with their biological parents. Is that sad? Sad. Because growing up and going to school, none of our friends' moms were with their dad. And when we came over to visit, we seen mom. Or we seen dad. We never saw both. And it's sad. It's disheartening. I think a lot of the values that I have instilled in me is simply due to the fact that I had both parents in my life. It's due to the fact that I got to see what a functional man looks like and a functional woman look like and how two could coincide together to make something beautiful. I can't tell you how many times I've seen my friends' mothers have these different men walk in and out of their lives just to try and fill that void that dad left behind. And it wasn't always successful. It wasn't always successful. Some of them have found great men, but it took years and years and years and years to find. I feel like if I regret one thing most about my life, it's not setting every man I encountered up to the same standard that my dad set for us. If I did, I probably wouldn't have kids. But it's sad. And the worst part is that these kids' dads aren't dead. Because if they were dead, that'd be a logical explanation for them not being in their kids' lives. But they're not dead. They're around. They're around. I'm not just talking about kids ages 0 to 10 or 12. I'm talking about young children in the mind. Kids who are over 20 and 25 and still have not figured out life. because they have still no idea of which fucking way that their ass is going, because they have never seen a functional man or a functional woman or a functional relationship. Now, I don't blame that all on the parent. I don't. Because I also believe that once you turn 18, you're on your own. Just like my mama told me, when your ass turned 18, you is on your own. And she was right. But because of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Because of the things that they instilled in me, I was functional. And I still am. I was able to figure out the right and the wrong way to do things. And because of it, I can raise pretty functional children. I think a lot of the lashing out that goes on around town and the country is all due to anger. Anger. Because these people have never really felt love. They felt abandoned, and they felt left behind, and they felt some type of way that they just can't really deal with. But it's also as a result of not having stable parents. And when I say, I know some women who will never look at men the same, who will never respect a man because the man never stuck around long enough. I know some men who will never respect women because the man was never around to teach them how to properly respect a woman. I hear all the time these boys say, well, I ain't never had a dad, and I ain't never did this and that, there, and the third. I ain't have shit. Okay. But that story gets old. Because whether or not you had a dad has nothing to do with how you turned out to be at 18, 19, and older. That's you. That's you. Because your parents' job is to help you reach a level of maturity and then send you on your way into society. It is not their responsibility to look after you long after that. Now, if you want to blame a parent, you blame them for everything that happened prior to you reaching adulthood. Because that they are responsible for. Now, if you say your outlook on relationships isn't the same, I could agree with that. You probably don't look like the same. But for me, I still do. I still look at love. I still look at happiness. I still look at stability as if it's the thing that should be done. Because that's what I saw. And that's what I want for my children. I think a lot of the misguidedness stems from the fact that these children feel like they have nobody to count on, nobody to depend on, nobody that they can really turn to. And it's sad. Have you ever noticed that a lot of times the reason that mom and dad aren't together is because mom and dad never worked together. Mom and dad didn't want a relationship. Mom and dad wanted to fuck. And therefore, here you have a child. I feel as though I didn't really understand why people had to be married before they had kids, but I do now. I do now. Sex shouldn't even be had until you have children. Until you're married. Because in the end, you're basically just being left with a baby and nothing else. But I'm not saying that marriage will instill a great family or it will build a great family, because it can't. Only thing that can do that is love. Only thing that can do that is love. Love is supposed to conquer all. But if there's no love there in the equation, how do you expect it to thrive? How do you expect it to flourish? How do you expect it to get anywhere? It won't. There's no happiness in a home where love does not live. But what's sad is that these children suffer for their parents' mistakes. Because you're not hurting you, you're hurting your children. I really feel as though these young men need a dad. These young women need a dad. They both always just have mom. But a mom can't teach a man how to be a man. She can teach a girl how to be a woman if she's a stand-up woman herself. Because if your mother is not a stand-up woman, she cannot teach you how to be a stand-up woman. You'll be just as shitty a woman as she was. Or you'll be just as shitty of a man as he was. But one thing about it, we shouldn't let what we've been through determine the type of people that we become. We can't use that excuse of I've never had this or I never had that as an excuse to not give your children everything you can. That's not an excuse. There's no excuse. Because your children are your offspring. They're your foundation. They are what you leave behind, your legacy. And they determine how well you've done as a parent. I feel my children wouldn't be as respectful as they are had it not been for my parents. My children wouldn't be as polite and well-mannered as they are if it had not been for my parents. Because they instilled that in me, and therefore I've brought it down to my children. It breaks my heart. It really does. Bubs the Beast, over and out.